back to my channel. Today I am testing out two new products by Hard Candy, and I was so excited to see both of these, especially this one right here. This is their Prismatic highlighter, which most companies are coming out with. My favorite current one right now is the one by Becca in Amethyst. This could be a possible dupe, so you might want to watch this video to see if it is. And this is their Sheer Envy Bake and Brighten and Set Loose Setting Powder. This reminds me so much of the banana powder, which I have not tried, so I'm super excited to put both of these to the test. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lisa. I hope that you guys subscribe. I would love to have you here, and let's just jump right into the video. Okay, so I went ahead and did my foundation and concealer. I used the e.l.f. Flawless foundation, which is my current favorite right now. I just love it. And for concealer, I mixed the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea in the shade Light and the Tarte Shape Tape in Light Medium. And the reason why I mix both of these is because I find this concealer to be very thick, and this just thins it out. Plus, the color works better for me because this does run a little bit dark for me. We're going to start off with the powder first. I'm going to use this to set my under eyes, and I'm also going to bake underneath my contour, and I'm also going to use this to set my entire face. Now, just for size comparison, this is the Coty Airspun and this is the Hard Candy, so it's quite a bit smaller, which I like because it's easier to store. Yeah, and you can also see the color difference. This has a yellow base to it, which I personally like because I find it to be very brightening for my skin tone. I don't know how this is going to work for somebody that is lighter than me. It might be a little too yellow, but it might work for some people. Okay, so here is the powder, and when I swatch it, it is like completely matte, so there's no shimmer or anything to this powder, and it's very finely milled and it feels very soft and smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and use my beauty blender to set that concealer, and I'm just gonna grab a good amount on that, and I'm going to start baking. So you can see how yellow it is on my skin tone, but it's very brightening. Okay, so it does say to leave this on for about 5 to 10 minutes, but what I'm gonna do is just leave it on for 5 minutes. I have now let that sit for 5 minutes. I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. blush brush, I believe this is, yes, and I love using this to set my under eyes, and I'm just gonna wipe all that away. So it blends really nice. It feels very soft and smooth on the skin. And I think it does like a pretty decent job of brightening. So I have to agree with that. So far the baking is working. So I think it's setting nice, it's brightening nice, and it's also baking nice. I'm going to use a little bit more and just use that to set my T-zone. So it looks very natural on the skin. It doesn't look powdery or cakey. It looks very natural. So I'm really liking the way it's sitting on the skin. Now I'm going to use this powder to set my foundation. I'm going to go in with this Sonia Kashuk. It's just a fluffy powder brush. And I'm just going to take a small amount and just tap that off a little bit too. And let's set the rest of this face. Okay, so up close, again, it looks very natural. I don't see any cakiness going on, but I do notice that my under eyes are kind of creasing just a little bit, but I normally tend to crease there with most setting powders, but this one I feel like it's showing a little bit more. So that would be the only thing for me, but it doesn't look dry or cakey underneath my eyes. I went ahead and contoured with my Marc Jacobs Mirage filter. And for my blush today, I used Tarte's Risque. Oh, you guys, this is going to be in my favorites video, so don't be surprised if you see it in there, because I love it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bake underneath my contour and just clean it up a little bit. I'm gonna let that bake for a bit, and we are going to move on to the highlighter. Now this highlighter, I was so excited to see it in store. Look at that packaging. This is their Prismatic highlighter, and you guys know, if you follow the beauty community, every brand is coming out with a highlighter like this. My recent purchase was the Becca Amethyst, which I'm in love with. Again, this will probably be in my favorites video, but I want to see how this compares to the hard candy one because these look pretty much the same. Here are the two side by side. The Becca one obviously looks a little bit more purple than the hard candy, but depending on which way the light is hitting it, you can definitely see some purple in here. And this looks very chalky compared to the Becca one. So I already know, because I've swatched this, it's super chunky and chalky and it does not feel smooth whatsoever. But when you apply it onto the skin and on the back of my hand, it just feels so smooth. So there it is right there. I can tell you guys off the bat that this does have a little bit of tiny micro shimmers in there and the Becca one doesn't. So we're gonna apply this with the Real Techniques setting brush and we are gonna go ahead and highlight. So it is going on quite sheer and I don't really notice a ton of pigment on the skin. Let's see if I can build it up. But I mean, it looks pretty on camera, but in person, it's very, very subtle. And as for the shimmer and the glitter, I don't really notice it a ton on my skin, so that's nice. I'm actually very surprised how it went on, like, because it swatched so chunky. It actually looks very soft and smooth on the skin. For the other side, I'm gonna go ahead and wet my brush with a makeup setting spray. Any setting spray will do. And we are going to see what kind of pigment I get from that. Yeah, I don't know, guys. It's pretty subtle. Although it is showing up really nicely on camera. So right off the bat, you guys, I'm not really impressed with it. I find that the pigment is just not there. I really had to build it up, and even wetting my brush, I found it was difficult to get some color payoff. So I don't know, I'm a little bit disappointed in this. However, looking at it in the camera, it looks exactly the same as the Becca one. So I mean, it is a pretty good dupe, but the quality is definitely different. This is more chunky, this is a lot smoother, and it doesn't have any shimmer in here either. Let's go ahead and wipe the powder away. Yeah, so I mean, it did a really good job of cleaning up my contour, and it's blending out really nice. However, I feel like if you are any lighter than me, then this color might be a little bit too dark for you. For me, it works though. Sorry if I'm looking in the viewfinder. I don't have a mirror. I just have this little mirror and that's, I'm kind of going back and forth. But it looks really, really nice. Boy, I am so disappointed in that highlighter. So here's the finished look. I think it cleaned up my contour really nice. My under eyes look pretty good, very brightening. And that highlighter, I don't know guys, do you guys even see it? And I put on a ton. I'm gonna end this video with my final thoughts, starting with the loose powder. I felt like it did a really great job at baking and brightening and setting the rest of my face. It does leave a matte finish, so I feel like people with oily skin are really gonna enjoy this product. As for the baking, I felt like it did a really great job. It really blended really nicely. It looks very soft. It doesn't look cakey. However, underneath the eyes, I do notice a little bit of creasing, but nothing too bad. I do feel like if you are a little bit more on the drier side, it might crease a little bit more on you. So somebody with oily skin would really enjoy this product. As for the highlighter, I really had high hopes for it because I feel like most of their highlighters are pretty decent, the ones that I have tried anyways, so I was excited about it. But when I first swatched it, I was like, oh, it's so chalky and chunky. I don't know how this is going to work. It did go on very smooth onto the skin, but there is just no pigment there, and I really had to work hard to really build up the color so it would just show on my skin. But now that I have built it up on camera, I think it looks really, really nice, but in person, there is just nothing there. I do, however, feel like the color is a pretty good dupe for the Becca one, although they do look a little bit different swatched and side by side, but on the skin, I feel like it looks exactly the same. Those are my final thoughts. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. It really does help out my channel. And if you are new, I hope that you guys subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Snapchat, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.